Hi, everyone. My name is Franco. I'm the Redneck Immigrant, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about just something I've been thinking about. The last 5 years or so, we've faced a lot as a country and as a civilization, and I think it's really, really affected us in a deep way. And I made a little list of just some of the highlights. It's not complete by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously, there's a lot more. Hell, each bullet point could be considered its own video. So, anyway, let's go down the list. And I wanted to talk to you guys about something because I do have a question. And I would really appreciate you guys trying to answer the question I'm going to ask you. So, anyway, here we go. So, we saw lies and mass censorship over COVID 19, where even doctors were being censored for speaking out against the CDC mandates, which is crazy. Then we saw government mandates and overreach, Constitution being spat on, being trampled on by the government, overreaching their authority. Then we saw the BLM riots. They were not protests. For the love of God, they were not protests. They were riots. Cities were on fire. Then we saw the apparent theft of the 2020 presidential election. Now, you don't believe it got stolen? You believe it was the most secure election ever in the history of mankind? Fine. But there is evidence that points that it may not have been, and that evidence cannot be ignored, which is why I say apparent. Then we saw the January 6th, where peaceful protesters, granted there were a couple of bad actors, but for overall, nothing got set on fire, and nobody killed anybody with the exception of the police killing that woman and one cop dying from a heart attack. So, and then lawfare was used against those people. They were jailed for something that was not a crime. They were escorted into a building by police, waved by, and those people got charged with trespassing and insurrection. Well, I don't know what they got charged with, but that's the essence of the situation. Then we saw leftist parents and teachers pushing transgender ideology, infecting kids' brains. Like they were facilitating this. And then children were being transitioned in secret by public schools. Children that can't read, by the way, because the public education system in this country has been an absolute joke and one of the biggest disservice to kids ever in history. Anyway, women's sports were invaded by men claiming they were women. They were taking medals, winning championships, shattering records with their bravery. Doctors saying that men can get pregnant all of a sudden, and the differences are nuanced. Please spare me. Then we had 3 assassination attempts on the president. We had the tragic loss of Charlie Kirk. We had an attempted break-in at J.D. Vance's home. We had Biden's complete and utter incompetence for 4 years. And then we had to watch legacy media, Hollywood, and leftists in general try to cover it up, that we're crazy. He's perfectly fine. He aced his competency tests. He's actually running the country, not somebody else or a group of people. Right. Then we saw his open border policy leading to virtually unchecked human trafficking and drug trafficking, violent crimes spiking all over our country. Lately, we've seen unhinged leftists rioting, organizing opposition, and interference to ICE. And ICE is just trying to do the job that we asked them to do, the job they've done for every single president since their inception. And lately, there's been a lot of doxing and terrorizing of ICE agents and their families. Crazy, unhinged leftists are leaving voicemails to these ICE agents and their families of how they hate them and they should kill themselves. Now, my question, before I ask the question, I want to preface it with This is not a call to action. That is not something I will ever do unless it's something lawful and right. You are responsible for formulating your own opinions and offering a response. My question is, when is it enough? When do we fight back? The left, their breaking point was pretty light because they invent issues that are a massive problem to them. And they're willing to die, they're willing to kill. Charlie Kirk said mean words according, in their perspective, and he paid for it with his life. He wasn't fighting anybody, he was arguing, having discussions. So the bar for the left is very low. Do we have a bar as conservatives, as law-abiding, God-fearing people? I don't know my answer to that question. I don't know what it would take for me to take to the streets with my firearm and doing harm to others. And I think part of the problem with finding that bar, that breaking point, is my family. I have massive responsibility to my wife and kids, and nothing can ever come above that. And I struggle with that as a patriot. I love my country. I love it dearly. And I don't know where my patriotism should come in when it comes to trying to save the soul of our country. So again, I don't want anybody to break any laws. And I don't want anybody to do something that is going to negatively affect them for the rest of their lives. I just want to know where your line is. I can't figure mine out. And if you have, I'd be really interested to hear what that is. So please like, share, subscribe, comment. More importantly, comment. I really want to hear people's thoughts because something does need to be done, and I don't know what that thing is. We keep voting, but that doesn't seem to be doing enough. So anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.